Darian Jackson will inbound for Tulsa. Anthony Pritchard, LaDavius Draine, Jeriah Horn, Nikita Konstantinovsky on the floor. Tyler Harris starts the second half for Memphis in place of Earl Timberlake. Quinones, Dandridge, Lomax, and Bates, the other four starters. On the back cut, Draine from Jackson. Got it out to Horn, and Dandridge with a blocked shot and a foul. And that foul is going to go against Malcolm Dandridge, it looks like, and it'll be Dandridge's third.
That's a tough one.
I thought the block was clean. I wonder if there was body contact after the fact.
I mean, I didn't see anything. I saw the block, and then I started following the basketball, so I stopped paying attention to that part.
So Horn right back to the line. He missed one of his first two free throws, and he's been perfect since then. 82% on the year, fourth best in the conference. And this is now Tulsa's largest lead as Horn has 14.
Interesting to see Tulsa picking up a little bit. Just disrupting maybe not just the rhythm, because they haven't really been able to establish rhythm. That's not the thing you want to do defensively. Is extend out and then foul early.
And Pritchard is limping. Anthony Pritchard, who picked up the foul, has been banged up, hasn't practiced the last couple of days.
Just about giving a different look. You know, you go into the locker room and your opponent feels as if they saw your defense and maybe there are adjustments there to be made, and you give them a different look.
Memphis led in the first half by Harris with 11. Bates was 0 for 6. He gets a good look, and he has his first basket.
It's a good find, good action. The roll hard, you curl, you stop, you roll hard. The roll's not there. It's because the backside guy had to come in and take that away. Monty Bates flashes up, gets an open look. It's good action.
Fourth assist for Alex Lomax, his second game back from injury. And Tulsa turns it over with Pritchard.
And Tulsa's got to be careful. I know you got a 12-point lead. You have to be careful. If Memphis gets hot and they start picking up their pressure and they start to play defense full court, it's going to be hard to do with the lineup they have, or the lack of a bench, lack of depth, whatever you want to call it, the guys that are out. But when they can maximize possessions, that's when Memphis is often at their best, like Alabama.
Dandridge ducks inside, draws the first foul against Konstantinovsky. Free throws coming from Malcolm Dandridge, who can cut the lead to 10.
Basically, the officials, you hold your arms up in the air. You're trying to make the point that I was straight up. What they're saying is, no, you weren't. Stop it. You drop your arms. Everybody does. It's like an instinctual thing. You start with your hands up in the air, but as the guy goes to shoot, you just can't help but to drop your arms, and that's where you get beat. A lot of times you get away with it.
Dandridge, a 45% free throw shooter, misses both, and it is an empty possession for Memphis. Tigers 0-5 when trailing at the half this year. Tulsa 3-1 leading at the half, and 94-12 in Frank Haith's tenure. Konstantinovsky spinning on Dandridge. Nikita Konstantinovsky with his first field goal.
Yeah, interesting. I like this lineup from Memphis. Maybe Minot in place of Dandridge and pressure a little bit more. Again, maximize possessions. This is an interesting group. There's versatility here. Some small guards who can create, like Lomax and Tyler Harris.
Lomax inside on Horn. Out to Quinones. Good look. Got a three, his third.
That's what you're looking for. You break down off the bounce. They haven't gotten a lot of open opportunities just by passing the ball around. The breakdown off the bounce opens up passing lanes. And if you get yourself to the open spot, you're going to get good looks.
Two teams shooting very well from three, both middle of the pack in that category. Jackson from Draine. Konstantinovsky didn't come down with it. Up in the air, batted by Jackson. Bates wins it, then Bates gets fouled. It'll be Jackson called for his second for Tulsa.
It was a good whistle either way, whether it was a foul or not. There's just some possessions. I think I say this every game. There are times when you just want it to stop. No finishes. It's just slot balls bouncing around. Yeah, that's probably a foul either way. Reboot.
Unplug the cartridge.
Yep.
Lomax. Jumper's good, and Memphis is within 9.
Tulsa came out sloppy. Didn't really have that sense of urgency that they had in the first half. And here comes Memphis.
Pritchard travel. Sometimes he does that. He'll get a little bit too deep, Anthony Pritchard, and immediately Frank Heath will bring Sam Griffin in for him, and Curtis Haywood will check in for Draine.
Yeah, look, Pritchard's very good and will be good. But they are a better team with Sam Griffin on the floor because he's a floor spacer, he's a shot maker. If you don't have an outside presence, you're not going to have room to work. Without the outside presence, Memphis doesn't over-rotate the way they did in the first half. They rotated the way they did in the first half because you had multiple three-point shooters on the floor. And guys like Jeriah Horne are able to get to the basket.
Well, Harris nearly traveled with it. He may have indeed. Frank Heath screaming about it. Lomax's missed three is grabbed by Haywood. That's a ball don't lie kind of situation, even though Rasheed Wallace is not on the bench today. Griffin, Konstantinovsky stripped, and it's going to Memphis. Redowu will replace Konstantinovsky. 3 turnovers already in the second half for Tulsa. That's 11 for the game.
There's just been some passes, some tight pocket passes that Tulsa's trying to make here early in the second that don't make any sense. That's not how you got the lead in the first half. That should be a charge.
And it's going to be Dandridge's 4th foul.
Yep. Smart
Play by Idowu, and Dandridge with 16:40 to go will head to the Memphis bench.
Idowu was just set. He was in a good position, and for Dandridge, there's no point. That's not what you do. He's really effective when he stays within his game. A lot of guys are like that, to be honest, but it's one of those guys when you just simplify the game and gain confidence that way, then you can start to expand upon your game a bit.
Chandler Lawson returns for Dandridge on the bench with 4 fouls. Griffin wants a screen. Griffin threw it away. A steal for Lomax, the Memphis leader. High dribble, and Lomax with a tough finish.
This is playing into Memphis's hands. And Tulsa's just making silly passes, really going nowhere in terms of what they're doing offensively, and the defense has been good for Memphis.
Horne got Quinones in the air, steps inside, ball was kicked. Shot clock will reset to 20, and Tulsa needs a reset here. A 7-0 Memphis. 5 in true road games, 2 and 6 away from FedEx Forum. They've lost the close ones on the road, and they have not won in this building since 2012. Imani Bates the rebound though, and Memphis on a 7-0 run can cut the lead to 4 or 5. Lomax into Horne. He draws the foul. Horne's first, and free throws are coming up for Alex Lomax.
Doesn't it feel like the game just shifted, completely shifted in favor of Memphis, because Tulsa offensively has gotten away from what worked in the first half, spacing out, attacking, getting to the baskets, being patient, making the right decisions, getting fouled. A lot of tough passes and tough shots to start this second half, and it's allowed Memphis to play with a little bit of pace.
Lomax, 76% free throw shooter. Has 5 games with an ankle injury, 5 assists, only 1 turnover, 4 steals. One of the few bright spots in the 12-point loss against SMU Thursday was his return. Lomax in and out, and the lead is 6 for Tulsa. Let's see if the message has been received out of the under-16 on this Tulsa possession. Jackson, well defended by Lomax. He bounces to Horne. Jeriah Horne over Quinones, fouled, and Horne will go to the line. Foul number 3 against Quinones.
Such a tough play not to foul, because you're going against a post player, whether it's the side of his hip or his backside, backing you down, and it's creating contact that you're pushing up against. So when Jeriah Horne goes to shoot that shot, you're pushing into the shooter. Really hard to avoid that foul.
Horne 11 for 12 at the free throw line. He had 20 points in the first game against Memphis, was 7 for 8. So 19 for 21 free throw shooting in the 2 games this year. His father Jarrell played at Memphis in the early 90s, was actually a teammate of Penny Hardaway's for a time. Rare free throw missed by Horne, rebounded by Bates. Kevin Lawson's looking around like, I got a screen for somebody, right? It was Bates. Got a look, missed a three. Bates is 1 for 8, 1 for 6 from 3. Highly touted freshman who turns 18 on Friday.
Yeah, he's gotten decent looks, and I mean, he's going to have to make a higher percentage of the good looks he gets, and then over time, learn how to make tough shots.
Griffin is fouled. Memphis reaching in again. Tyler Harris's third foul.
Yeah, that's been an issue for Memphis, and there are times where you can get away with it. There are games where they're just not going to call it as much. I think the games like in Alabama where it is up and down, maximizing possessions, they call that less. But when the game like this is a half-court game and Sam Griffin gets the out of bounds underneath, 3 to go, when the game is more possession to possession, hand checking and hand involvement is more obvious. Back to back there.
4-3 for Harris. He answers the Griffin make. Tyler Harris leading the way with 14. The Memphis' leading scorer more than any other player this year, Tyler Harris. Idowu into Lawson. Idowu finishes. That's what they need from Ray Idowu. They were hoping they'd get a little bit more of him, more of that from him to start the year.
Well, again, I go back to I say something like good action. Well, good offense is good action.
Bates from Lomax. That's good action. And a strong finish.
A play like that is a combination of good action and bad defense. You know, poor communication. You lose a guy and he gets behind you. That's inexcusable. That two-man game was. This good action. It's hard to cover a two-man game if you really clear space and have shooters on the backside.
Jackson a 3. He got it to go. Darian Jackson, only his 7th three-pointer of the year. Tulsa's 8th in 13 tries today.
And that play Bates got, you're going to get that at times against the zone, right? You can cut underneath the zone. Not sure this is where you want to go, though.
Harris on horn, got the matchup. Harris drives. Harris is fouled, shooting 2.
He's so hard to cover. You think you're low. You're not. You're not low enough.
Third foul against Curtis Haywood.
The toughest thing about covering Tyler Harris is his willingness to shoot the jump shot. Not a lot of guys can really pull the jump shot the way Tyler Harris can. And I think that's what makes him such a challenge. And it's also why NBA players are so great. They can pull up from wherever. Again, it's about forcing the toughest shot possible.
I think the other side of that too, John, is not a lot of players at 5'9", 148 are willing to drive it as hard as Tyler Harris is.
Oh, no. He's go, 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 man. It's, I don't know if it's ever red, but it's always green. Sure isn't yellow. Like, he's got a green light. Whether he's been awarded the green light or he just took it, he's got a green light, and I love it about him.
80% free throw shooter, hits both. It's been Memphis' leading scorer 5 times this year, on pace for a 6th. You look at the numbers in the last 4 games, and today 4 for 5 from 3. And Josh Minot with a clumsy foul in the backcourt, so 5 fouls apiece for these teams. For Minot, it's his 2nd.
Those are the ones that, those are the head scratchers. There's no reason. There's no reason for it.
It doesn't feel like, you correct me if you think I'm wrong here.
You're wrong.
It doesn't feel like the game's being over officiated. Like, these are just fouls.
No, they're fouls. They're fouls, and it leads to a sloppiness, at least a sloppy feel to the game. In truth, there have been some good plays being made, but the fouls and the hands, I mean, you got to learn how to play without using your hands and hacking the ball. And it's going to give you a better chance to win basketball games.
Jackson on Harris, a step back 3. He got it! Tyler Harris, 5 for 6 from deep. He shoots Memphis to within 5.
Hey, it's okay. It's not a good shot. That was not a good shot. But that's what he does, and that's what makes him so dangerous. And I tell you, that's why I love him. Great energy guy, too, man. He just changes the feel for the game.
Griffin's got Lawson on him, blows by him, floats and scores. Smooth from Sam Griffin.
I want to see how Memphis responds here. You got something going with Tyler Harris. I'd move him around a little bit, get him chasing a little bit. Maybe you can get a matchup you like.
Minot instead. Minot fouled. He scores. What a finish by the freshman Josh Minot. He can cut the lead to 4 at the line.
Defense gets lifted. He just denies the screen, goes baseline, strong finish. But Tyler Harris is just one of those guys. He can change the game very quickly. I mean, you try to go under screen. Nope, you got to jump back out. Now you got to gap a little bit. Does that little double step back and 5'9", but he's able to create space. That's what shooting is really all about. You got to be able to create space. He does that very well. No one on the baseline. Dowu's late. And Minot, who I think is terrific. He's just going to get better and better. I think he was 70th in his class. Yep. Whatever that means. You know, I think it's there. Makes sense, sort of. He's a kid that he's playing beyond his potential.
There's Harris off the feed from Lomax. Bates cuts it to a 2-point lead. Memphis as close as it's been in a long, long time. Timeout, Frank Haith. If you're just joining us, 3-year scholarship player, 2 at Memphis, 1 at Iowa State. He decided he wanted to come back to Memphis, finish his career. He's from Memphis, went to East High School, but they didn't have a scholarship available. So he is playing as a non-scholarship player this year. Well, where would they be without him? My goodness. Here's a 3 for Dulger. Slapped by Draine. And out of bounds to Memphis. Few minutes.
It's been a good start to the second half. And a lot of this kind of like this smaller lineup. You have Tyler Harris and Lomax on the floor at the same time. Guys that can break you down, particularly against this zone. And Tyler Harris is he's just a challenge. Always looking to shoot. Why not?
Harris gets free off a Lawson screen. That would have been for the lead. Should say Memphis was within 1 at 22-21, but no closer since then. They've cut a 15-point lead to 2.
You don't realize how difficult it is to defend someone who's always looking to seek out a shot opportunity, right? Cuts hard, tries to get open, tries to get around screens, kind of uses you as a screener even when you don't realize it's happening.
Idowu off the miss from Griffin, and a follow there from Ray Idowu. 6 points off the bench for Tulsa.
You see a lot of guys who say they're scorers, but they don't work off the ball. If you don't work off the ball, you're not a scorer. Tyler Harris is working hard off the ball. He's getting to different spots on the floor, and he's looking to shoot every time he gets it.
I lose track of the ball sometimes just watching Harris. My eyes go to him. He's guarding so much. Lawson scores, plus a blocking foul. Foul is against Dulger. And Chandler Lawson's first basket of the game has a chance to turn into a 3-point play.
They're saying he was... Ooh, I want to see it. Yeah,
his left foot may have been in the arc.
Look, I think he was inside the arc when the shot was attempted, and he slid under. It's the right call. I just, I hate the block charge to begin with. I'd like to see more plays at the rim.
Second foul against Dulger. Lawson missed the free throw. Memphis 10 for 16 at the line. Tulsa 17 for 21. No Horn in the game right now for Tulsa. Look to feed Idowu again. Working on Lawson. Dulger into Minot. Wow, Dulger looked like he pushed him with a forearm there. No call, and Lawson the rebound.
There's just nothing there. I mean, where are you going on the baseline? I just don't understand why the Tulsa offense has gotten compacted. You have a Memphis defense that will chase the basketball and get spaced out. Yet you've compacted your offense. I think that's been part of the problem for Tulsa in the second half.
And Harris walked with it. A travel and a Memphis turnover. Big Monday doubleheader tomorrow night. Noah Locke in Louisville against Jaden Gardner and Virginia as we start in the ACC at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Followed by a great game of the Big 12 at Allen Fieldhouse. Number 18 Texas Tech, the first team to beat Baylor this year. And 7th ranked Kansas at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Both games right here on ESPN. Also on the ESPN app. Jariah Horn back on the floor for Tulsa, leading the way with 15 points. Jackson's hit 1 3 today. Earl Timberlake back in the game for Memphis. Got a hand to the rebound, and the Tigers have it. Bates charging into Jackson. Horn was there as well to clean up the mess, and here comes Griffin. Draine for 3. His fourth of the game.
I know Monty Bates wants the foul. He's just not going to get it. He just doesn't have the strength yet to stop, go up strong. He's trying to go through.
Get over the hump this afternoon? That's the question right now.
I hope that's not a question you're looking for an answer for.
I'm not. I'm just putting it out there for the final 8:50. That question will be answered.
No way to answer that.
That's just hanging over the broadcast.
Yeah, it is hanging over the broadcast. Look, I think Tulsa has to get back to attacking space. The idea from a good offense is to create space. You create space, you attack that space. That's what's got Memphis chasing. They chase if they see the ball in space. The problem is Tulsa's been attacking their own teammates. Spacing hasn't been good in the second half.
There's a big foul for Tulsa. Ray Idowu will check out after his 4th foul. Curtis Haywood replaces him. So Tulsa's forced to go small here with Idowu on the bench. And Josh Minot will roll in the second. Another effective game against Tulsa for Minot, who had 7 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists in the first game. 13.6 boards today.
Idowu's been good. He's just fouled a lot in the small amount of minutes he's gotten. It's been effective.
Malcolm Dandridge with 4 fouls is back out there for Memphis. Back cut to Griffin. He's hacked, and he will shoot 2. Got fouled by Earl Timberlake, his 3rd. And Griffin, who's Tulsa's best free throw shooter, heads to the line.
It's funny, you see that from Memphis. There are times when they over-rotate. There are times when they don't rotate. And the rotation I'm talking about now is just rotating to the ball to take that back cut away. You're 3 passes away. There's no reason to be hugged up on your man in the corner. If you show on the block, you deter the back cut in general. Well, sometimes it's positioning that if you're out of position, you create so much room for the offense to work. You pressure around the perimeter, you back cut it, you get something easy.
1 for 2 for Griffin. And 25 points, a season high at Memphis in their first meeting. 11 today. Minot working inside to Dandridge. Draine swats it back to Minot. Minot into the lane. And another chance for a 3-point play as Josh Minot begins to assert himself on this game.
Youth and potential shown on one single play in Josh Minot. First off, not a good look. Makes a bad pass trying to get that high-low. There's nothing there, but then you see the talent. You see the ability. Go get the ball, go make a play. And Jeriah Horn just inside that silly restricted arc.
Minot is tied a season high with 15. He has surpassed it now, and Memphis is within 1 for the first time since 22-21. Horn's first touch of the possession with 15 to shoot. It's Griffin with 5. Stepping inside. Gonna have to be Jackson here. Jackson got it on the rim. No foul. Rebound Dandridge. And Memphis can take the lead.
It's hard. You have so many guys who need to get to the basket if you're Tulsa. They're not even covering them as 3-point shooters. They're waiting for them in the paint. Now you're driving to congestion, not driving to space. Idea is drive to space, force the defense to collapse on that space. When they collapse, other people are open.
Been about 30 minutes of game time since Memphis has led. 2 to shoot. Dandridge from Minot, and Memphis has its first lead since it was 5-4.
They've been patient. You got to give Memphis credit. They've been patient. They sought out the high-low. Defense sagged. Able to make the pass with no ball pressure. You got to apply ball pressure to a high-low to negate that pass.
A 15-point Tulsa lead is completely evaporated. Harris hits the deck. Jackson gets it back. Driving it on Timberlake. Out to Haywood. Dandridge stays down. 1 to shoot. Shot clock violation. A brilliant defensive possession.
Especially the fluidity of not only the way the game's played in terms of rhythm and flow, but the fluidity of emotions, right? Everything feels like you got to win. You got to build on some positive vibes and get good body language. And It's hard, especially when you have a young team. You don't know who you're going to have from game to game, as Penny mentioned. Like, how many different, 13 different starting lineups? Come on, that's
most of
crazy.
the country. Free throws for Horn made it a 1-point game, and Harris buries it 2. Memphis has still not missed from 2-point range in the second half. 10 for 10, and Harris has 21. New season high for him.
Man, he's such a tough cover. The commitment to scoring the basketball makes him hard to cover. And Sam Griffin's going to have to make some tough shots because nobody else is looking to shoot threes from Tulsa.
They got Idowu back in the game with 4 fouls, Tulsa. Dandridge playing with 4 for Memphis.
Incredible how much this game has shifted from first half to second. Which I think you can sense a lot of times with Memphis. It doesn't take much. They make a few shots, all of a sudden, here we go.
Harris for 3. Rebound Timberlake and a fresh 20.
I want Memphis to go back and watch that play out of the last time out and go, hey guys, whether we score on this play or not.
And Minot fouled again, and he's tripped by Idowu, who has just fouled out. Ray Idowu disqualified with 4:45 to go.
14 minutes of play.
And Josh Minot is going to go to the free throw line where he is 8 for 8. A crushing foul for Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean, look, he did a lot with his time on the floor. The problem is he just fouled too much. He's too important. Good physical size.
Well, Minot, a 68% free throw shooter. Been at 100% today. Make it 9 for 9 for Josh Minot. He was certainly not the most highly touted freshman in this class, but he's maybe been the most effective, certainly today.
There we go. I mean, look, he's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for Ray Idowu. You got to slide your feet. You got to stay low, get your hands wide. On that baseline, you have to beat him to the first step. Minot goes baseline. You need to beat him. Easier said than done.
Largest lead for Memphis. Minot with 18. Horn double team. Lomax came in there, knocked it away, and a steal from Timberlake.
That's the heady Lomax. Yeah, the experienced guy just sneaks in, and nobody for Tulsa helping a teammate out. First off, you don't throw it there when you see him behind. So ultimately, I put that on the passer.
Inside Dandridge, he's on Jackson. Horn comes over to take it away, and there's a tie-up. That was a quick whistle there from Jim Hartness, and it stays with Memphis.
Wouldn't you like to see, like, give him a second or so to fight for it?
Yes.
I would like to see, I mean, granted, it's simultaneous possession. That's what a tie-up is, and that can happen pretty quickly, but I'd like to see if someone has the advantage, take it away.
Timberlake rises and scores. Earl Timberlake. 6 points for him. Some big minutes down the stretch for Timberlake, and Memphis' lead is 7.
Timberlake's pull-up jumper, look, oh, nothing there.
Konstantinovsky, and we got a foul with 3:52 to go.
Because he's trying to get buckets.
Nikita Konstantinovsky hits the first of a 1-and-1. Been a great game for Minot. He did pick up his 4th foul going to the break. Minot and Dandridge playing with 4 for Memphis. Idowu has fouled out for Tulsa. That's why Konstantinovsky's on the floor, and he goes 4 for 4 from the line. 6 points for Nikita Konstantinovsky. Memphis still yet to miss from inside the three-point arc in the second half, and they're 50% outside of it. 15 for 19 from the field in this second half. Lomax passed up a layup to go out to Timberlake. Harris flips it up to Dandridge. Timberlake, Lomax again with a 3, and Dandridge's putback will result in a foul. Tulsa was hoping that they were going to get Dandridge for an over the top in his 5th foul. The call was not that. It's the foul against Konstantinovsky, his 2nd. Tulsa crowd doesn't like it.
Take a look at it. On the rebound. Fighting for position. I saw it on the shoulder. I mean, likely after he got pushed, but it doesn't really matter. You gotta play the game that's called. I think it's fine. I always say it's fine for fans to get mad and boo. But you can't get consumed by that as a player. You really have to learn the now what mentality sooner than later. I think it's even okay for coaches, because coaches are adults who have been through this and know how to manage their emotions. Right? You manage your emotions, you ride the highs and lows, and you get to now what when you need to. But as players, you got to be in that now what mentality.
1-1 for Jeriah Horn, who's 15 for 17 at the free throw line. Timberlake just picked up his 4th foul. So Jeriah Horn, who's hit 1 basket from the field, he's 1 for 5, has 18 points. And he goes 2 for 2 here, cuts the lead to 4. Still a whole lot of time left.
It's hard to get stops. Memphis has been operating well offensively, and sometimes when you have perceivably less talent, you do the little things well, and Memphis has done a lot of little things well. Set screens, turn the corner, do stuff like that.
Dandridge, he finishes off the flip from Lomax. Lomax with his 7th assist, and Memphis still perfect from 2-point land here in the half.
Saying it's easier to win with less, but it's easier to do the things that are necessary to win when you have less. And that was a big shot that I don't know why Jackson hasn't taken all game.
His second 3, Darian Jackson 2 for 5 from deep. The lead back to 3 with under 3 to play.
There are times early in the second half where you just have to take the shot because you're open. And if your opponent sees you taking the shot, they're going to close out harder. But you can't drive in to help defense or your own defender.
Harris takes a 3. He got it again. Tyler Harris, a ludicrous afternoon. 6 threes, 24 points, and a 6-point Memphis lead.
He's just been key, man. I'm telling you, how you lose him, I don't know how that's possible. You can't lose Tyler Harris.
Jackson, Konstantinovsky, he's blocked by Dandridge. Minot pushes to Harris, and Memphis will slow it down with 2 to go.
But even right there, Jackson drives right to a block that's already occupied by his own teammate. There's no room. There's helps there. So Konstantinovsky's just stuck in a bad spot.
Way too much of that in the second half for Tulsa. Harris would have been his 7th-3.
I love it. Look, Tyler Harris, he's seeking it out, man. He's been aggressive. He makes them better.
And Frank Haith is going to use his 3rd timeout, as again Jackson was given space to operate from 3 and didn't want to take it.
It's an interesting group too. You know, we get so consumed early in the season about the potential and a lot of the hype about young players. You know, it's the guys that we never talked about. We never talked about Tyler Harris when considering this team as a potential top 10 team earlier this year. And I find that to be incredibly interesting, because it's guys like this that can bring them back. It's guys like this that can give them confidence. It's the Josh Minots who really have come on as of late. Doing this without Jalen Duren, doing this without DeAndre Williams, no Jaden Hardaway, no Nolly. I mean, it's the guys like Tyler Harris that give you the confidence to become who you can become.
I want to remind folks about our Super Tuesday doubleheader coming up in a couple of days. Michigan State, the big win at Wisconsin. On Friday, they'll visit Illinois in Champaign, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, followed by Kentucky and Mississippi State. Big Ten SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader presented by Progressive. What do you want to see here for Tulsa?
I don't want to see him drive at your own teammate, because that's what I've seen a lot of. You got to space, and I think Sam Griffin has to be involved. I'd love to see a little more two-gang game. Well, that's good stuff. I'd like to see Jeriah Horn and Sam Griffin operate on one side of the ball and give me a shooter far corner.
Horn, the assist to Jackson there.
But it's been the toughest thing for Memphis to cover. It requires great communication, and if you help over too much, someone in the corner is going to get an open look. They haven't gone back to that. They had success with it first half, had success with it in the second half, just haven't gone back to it.
Harris communicating with Dandridge. Dandridge wasn't looking up, and Harris threw it to him anyway. A costly turnover. Griffin finishes. A 2-point game. And Lomax falls on top of Griffin at the end of it. Nothing doing here. 57.8 to go, and officials will just stop play for a moment. And Lomax is a little bit sore.
just Tyler Harris wanted to get it to Dandridge, kind of, alleviate some pressure, get moving. Dandridge just wasn't paying attention, and Sam Griffin just goes the length of the floor. Not a foul, just a whole ton of contact.
Brian Dorsey's at the monitor. He may just be looking at the time. It's funny with Memphis that they can be so brilliant for 20 minutes, and then these are the moments that have frustrated so many this year.
Yeah, these close game situations have become defining moments, and let's the clock at 57.8. Just it's a physical game. They didn't mean to. It's okay.
Clock's going to stay at 57.8 here. Lomax, Harris, Minot, Timberlake, and Dandridge for Memphis.
Needs to be a good defensive possession for Tulsa. And Memphis needs to move the basketball. They've had success when they move the basketball, get the defense moving. This is good stuff. They had a little bit of a timeout there. But you got to get something out of it.
Draine guarding Timberlake. Spins around. Timberlake takes the shot. First two-point miss of the half for Memphis. And here's Jackson for Tulsa. Driving in on Harris, and he's fouled with 27.8 to go.
Oh, Lord.
Tulsa's in the double bonus. These will be free throws to tie for Darian Jackson, a 71% foul shooter.
Darian Jackson's one of those guys where you love it when he makes plays. You love him as a teammate, but there are times like right there where you go, where are you going? And in a way, Memphis bailed him out. I mean, just no room there. Drives into heavy congestion, but has an opportunity at the foul line.
That was Tyler Harris's fourth foul, which means outside of Alex Lomax, every Memphis player on the floor has 4 fouls. Jackson 2 for 2 at the line today. And he gets the first to make it a 1-point game. If he hits the second, Memphis could hold for the final shot. The 5th-year senior from Oberlin Park, Kansas. Jackson misses it short. And at some point, Tulsa will have to foul. And that point is right now with 24.9 to go. Jackson fouls Lomax.
It's about extending the basketball game. Force Memphis to win from the free throw line. Look, we saw the free throw numbers for Memphis, which is a reason why they've struggled to close out games. Alex Lomax, probably not the guy you want to put at the free throw line, but ultimately you got to extend the game and stop the clock. But the Memphis free throw struggles, I mean, that has really kept them from winning a lot of close games.
Lomax missed the first. A 76% shooter. And Tulsa will have a chance to tie or take the lead depending on this shot. Memphis is trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and those are the numbers you're talking about, John. In the last 3 games, some of them close, 21 for 48 at the line. They're 16 for 24 today. Lomax's second is good. The lead is 2. Quinones is checked in for Dandridge. And before the inbound, Dandridge is going to return. He'll check in for Tyler Harris defensively.
Didn't he just check out?
Yeah, he just checked out before the free throws for Quinones. LaDavius Draine's going to come in for Tulsa, replace Darian Jackson. Anthony Pritchard, who's not played much in this game, is in as well to run the point for Tulsa. Let's see what Tulsa does. Shot clock is off, down by 2. It's Griffin. Timberlake, a strong defender on him. Now Lomax, even stronger defender maybe. Knocked it away from Griffin. Pritchard, 6 to shoot. Pritchard, the freshman, nowhere to go. Squeezes it to Draine, and Draine's pass is blown away, and Memphis wins. A final possession meltdown for Tulsa, and Memphis snaps the losing streak in 3 with an 83-81.